Today is going to be a little bit of a departure when it comes to the type of coverage that we're doing. Not a whole lot of articles to be going through. I'm just going to share with you something that I have found to be inexorably important when it comes to my own personal development, and something that I would love to share with you guys as well. When I was growing up, I wasn't a big reader, okay? It's only been a phenomenon of the past about 5 years at this point where I started to make it a habit where I need to read every single day, because I never found it to be more important than when it was broken down to me by just saying, hey, if you have all of these resources available to you, if you have these mentors that you've never had the opportunity to meet, but you can still attain all of their information distilled down into a 9-10 hour sit down and read, why wouldn't you take advantage of that situation? These aren't my 3 favorite books, okay? It would be impossible for me to just list everything based on how I feel about something. On the certain day, I might put one book at number 1. I might put something else the next day up at the top. These are just 3 from a couple of different time periods, a couple of different topics, but they're all incredibly informationally dense reads, and they will help you understand a whole host of topics. And this one right here, front and center, first one we're going to talk about, Black Rednecks and White Liberals by Thomas Sowell. Okay? The title, honestly, it's fairly inflammatory, right? Black Rednecks and White Liberals, what's that all about? Well, it's about going through history. It's discussing what happened during slavery, the roots of that, and what led to the thoughts and prevalence of slavery and its subsequent discussions over the previous years, and all of that rhetoric is really heated up in recent times. This is more of a topic than what we talk about in the main channel. I'm just going to tell you that my copy right here is in good condition. I like to take care of my stuff here, but I've read through it a couple of times at this point, and I find it incredibly important. And it has shaped a lot of my own thought patterns, and really starting to realize that if you just take a look through history, a lot of this stuff that's going on in today's day and age is just recycling things that have happened before and are going to continue happening into the future. I'll just give you the first paragraph on the back. See if you want to follow along. See if you want to take a look for yourself. It's readily available. I got the paperback. There's a hardcover out there. It's very popular for very good reasons. This explosive new book challenges many of the long prevailing assumptions about blacks, about Jews, about Germans, about slavery, about education, plainly written, powerfully reasoned, and backed with startling array of documented facts. Black Rednecks and White Liberals takes not only the trendy intellectuals of our times, but also historic interpretations of American life by Alexis de Tocqueville and Frederick Law Olmsted. In a series of long essays, the book presents an in-depth look at key beliefs behind many mistaken and dangerous actions, policies, and trends, in presenting eye-opening insights into the historical development of the ghetto culture in today's wrongly seen as a unique black identity, a culture cheered on toward its self-destruction by white liberals who consider themselves friends of blacks. An essay titled Real History of Slavery presents a jolting re-examination of the tragic institution and narrow and distorted way it is too often seen in society. The reason for the venomous hatred of Jews and the other groups like them in countries around the world are explored in essays like Are Jews Generic? Misconceptions of German history in general, my mistake, and of the Nazi era in particular are also re-examined. It's not apologizing for the Nazis. In fact, it's explaining the industrious nature of the Germans that led them to be so successful. And then when government decided that they needed to, stretch their legs a little bit, how the Germans replied in kind. Not all of them, some of them. Most of them came along for the ride, though. So too are inspiring achievements and painful tragedies of black education in the United States. It's a gripping tale. It lets you know that a lot of the stuff, especially when it comes to China, especially when it comes to inner cities, it's all happened before, and those who don't understand history are doomed to repeat it. I cannot stress that enough. This book right here in the center of your screen, right there, is the single most important book you will ever read about personal accountability. Written by Jocko Willink and Leif Babin. It details how by taking extreme ownership over every single thing that they were involved with, directly, tangentially, it didn't matter. They owned the situation. There are chapters in the book. No bad teams, only bad leaders. Check the ego. Cover and move. Laws of combat, in fact. Cover and move, simple. Prioritize and execute, decentralized command. Leading up and down the chain of command, decisiveness amid uncertainty, and discipline equals freedom. That is something else that is very popular among the most successful people in the world. Doesn't matter the discipline, business, politics, fitness, management. They all understand a regimented approach to their day and getting the most out of it. And by taking extreme ownership in regards to everything in your life, that means that you have control over it. You have direct interaction with the problem, and you can find a way to solve it. You might not have all the answers, but you can go out there. Thanks to the internet, this is the greatest time to be alive, bar none. With all things considered, you can go out there, you can find somebody to help you out. Don't become reliant on that person. Be reciprocal, but get the information that you need in order to start making the changes in your life that will make you successful. And that's what that book directly talks about. Taking charge of everything from your home life to your work life, and realizing that nobody's going to be there for you. Nobody's going to solve your problems. At the end of the day, it's on you. And last but certainly not least, a book that is almost 2,000 years old. A book that was never intended to be published as written work. It was just the journalings of the most powerful man in history to that point, Marcus Aurelius. Meditations. The Stoic philosophy. It is the foundation of all organized religion. It really is an extraction, or rather an extrapolation, to the extreme ownership mindset. You are responsible for your own mindset. You are responsible for everything that you are in control of. And it's ever so important now, because the world was going through a plague at the time when a bulk of this was being written, in the wake of a civil war that was taking over Rome. It is a great introduction to the Stoic mindset. There are 4 main virtues of said mindset: wisdom, courage, temperance, and justice. It might be a topic for another video in the future, but it is still very important. It's also very important to remember that any pain that you are going through right now, memento mori, you will die. It will all be over someday. I'm not saying that is some sort of a glum interpretation of the world. It is in fact that yes, everything is temporary. The only thing that matters is how you handle that response. If you handle it with wisdom, if you are just in your assessment of the situation, if you learn from it, if you go into the situation knowing that it might be tough, it might be brutal, but you will learn and you will grow from that situation. And with the understanding that everything will be over someday and that all things are fleeting, you will have the courage to overtake them. Because guess what? Whether you're here or not, sun is still going to come up in the morning. It's the foundation in which all successful people live their life, whether they know it or not. Stoicism and meditations is a foundational work that you will not be disappointed if you read. There are a whole host of other books that I've read over the past few years that I find infinitely important. My personal development, to my mindset being dialed in. I would love to share with you guys in the future, but this is just a quick three of my top recommendations, definitely within my top 10. Like I said, there's going to be a whole bunch of different stuff that's going to be coming over here, so hopefully you enjoyed that, and hopefully you learned something new. Hopefully you realize that there's a couple of other topics out there that might be new to you, that'll definitely help you out in the future. And with that said, I thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.